Start to communicate about it. And first, maybe to the people who have open minds. Start to communicate with others who are having similar experiences and those who are not yet having them but desire to have them. Right? Start communicating, start sharing. Right? If you wish, dear one, a garden to grow in this world, you have to start by planting the seeds. Don't wait for someone else to put the seeds in the garden. Right? So many of us, we're waiting and waiting. When are some other people going to talk? Right? When are they going to release it? Why are they holding back all the information? Right? We're the ones having the experiences. We need to be sharing our stories. We need to be writing our books. We need to be talking with each other. We need to be studying the stories of each other to build a living library. The more human beings desire something, the bigger it grows in the world, and like the 100th monkey, it brings others into the experience. Disclosure has been happening. Most human beings are waiting for some government to finally admit that it's right. Governments have already been releasing documents. They have for decades of time. Newspapers have been reporting it. It's in the artwork that goes back hundreds of years. It's on the cave paintings that go back thousands of years. It has been disclosed. It's already here. As we raise our vibration, we're going to be able to come into greater contact with these non-physical beings. We're opening our awareness, our intelligence, and our energy. You see, sometimes we have a belief in our mind that it's not here and I want it to be here. I'm not a creator and I wish I was a creator. Right? Sometimes we have these beliefs in our mind and we're just hiding what's right in front of our faces. There are many, many human beings who are sharing their experiences of non-physical contact. Not everybody's having it, but those who do, they're sharing their seeds. Oftentimes, we're the ones looking at those who aren't having the experiences saying, are you going to accept it? Do you believe it's true? Are you going to tell us your story? They don't have a story. They don't know where to base their information upon. The people who are having the experiences must continue to talk about them. They must continue to share them because that's what's informing the world. Not everybody's going to have these non-physical experiences. We don't need a government to give permission to us to believe in the experiences we're having. And that's often what people want. We want some public organization, some big daddy figure to give ourselves permission, yes, you can believe in it. Right? We're like little children, doubting ourselves unless mommy and daddy says it's correct. Right? We do that all the time. We look to our religious leaders. We look to our family members. We look to our government officials. We look even to our friends. Right? Can I believe it? Right? Is it true? Can I believe it? Right? How many times do you have an experience and you're not certain about it, you won't trust yourself, and you want confirmation from somebody else to believe yourself, to believe your own experience? We have this conditioning in our mind to not trust ourselves. Right? So the more those who have the experience talk and share, the more it helps the others who have had the experience but are afraid to talk about it or afraid to trust in it to step forward and join the group. Extraterrestrials, non-physical beings have been making contact since the beginning of human history. Right? We can keep talking about it, believing in it, sharing in it, and that's what's putting it in the world. It's not going to be a government of politicians who live in fear and limitation who are going to help people believe of extraterrestrials. It's going to be the people who have the experiences with the extraterrestrials who are going to inform the others. Right? So disclosure is happening. It has been growing. Human beings are just waiting for some political structure to say, yeah, you're right, it's true. But if you look at the politicians, are they really that intelligent? Do they really have your best interest at heart? Right? Are they going to agree with you? Even if you had an alien knock on the front door of their house, they probably wouldn't believe it. Right? It's important, dear ones, that we trust ourselves, we align with what's important and true for us, and we bring it in the world to share with one another. No one needs to give you permission to be a human being. No one needs to give you permission to believe that your experiences are true. No one needs to tell you how to think, because you have been given the gift of free will, and you can decide your own understanding. Well, first it's going to make you feel recognized, and that's the wound. That's the wound that you're all trying to heal. right? You want recognition. You know it's true, but you want to be recognized, right? Now, the wound of recognition is that we're still holding back the expression of ourselves, right? It's like permission, right? You want another to recognize you, and then you can finally feel peaceful inside. Ah, they agree with me, right? It's like when you're little children and you have a crush on someone in your classroom, right? And you pass them a note, right? You give them a Valentine's Day card, right? And you're all tense inside, right? Will they smile at me? Will they give me approval? Right? Do they like me? We have that wound as adults. We want recognition. We want a response that reciprocates how I think and feel. We want to see that we're in agreement. It's a natural human desire that builds structures of community. So when something is very important to you, you want your closest loved ones to understand it and to support you with it. And as a human race, we want all of humanity to understand and embrace this reality because it's so important to us. Now, there's a little bit of a fallacy in this disclosure community. You see, they think if the government says extraterrestrials exist, then all of a sudden all the non-believers are going to come on board. Look at the politics. Human beings, politicians, they're up there telling people things, and the people are debating if it's true or not. The people are in their own understanding, right? If a politician says something, probably about 10% of the population believes what the politician says, right? Now, maybe half the population is in agreement, right? Because they already had that belief. And half the population is in disagreement because, well, they had a different belief. The politician doesn't really have a lot of influence because people have a lifetime of conditioning. When a politician says something or a leader says something, there are different types of people who just like to agree because it makes them feel good that they're connected to the leader. There are parts who don't say anything because they believe something else. You have all the different variety. Underneath the desire of recognition from a political entity, a political group, is really this belief of deservability, right? This belief of recognition, right? And it's really related to ourselves struggling to really stand in our own power, just saying, this is me. This is my experience. That's what we really want to be able to do. Can we be so strong, trusting and knowing our experience is true, that it doesn't matter if we're the only one in the room believing it? We don't feel hurt. We don't feel shrunken down. Instead, we just realize, you know what? The universe gave this experience only to me. And that's just how it is right now. Maybe I'm the only one in the room who's ever been visited by an extraterrestrial, and no one else believes it, but I really want them to believe it. Can I look and realize none of them have had the experience, so why should they believe? I had the experience. I know it's true. They didn't have the experience. They're trusting their own reality. Can I find peace in that? Can I not feel less because others have not had similar experiences? Right? See, the problem is our own wounding. That's why it's so important. That's what we're struggling with. Our advice, dear one, is talk and share about your experience because it's important to you. And forget about the need to have anyone else recognize you. Right? Wear the clothes that make you happy. Let the world see you. It doesn't matter if it's in fashion or not. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing or thinking. All that matters is, are you living in alignment with your truth and yourself? And that's challenging sometimes. We have compassion for you. But we tell you, dear one, when you learn this lesson, that everyone's been given a different experience, and everyone's role is to trust their experience and express themselves for who they genuinely are. If we see that bigger picture, then we find peace and we release the conflict within our own minds. That's how we create this utopia. It's not by getting people to believe something they haven't experienced. It's about honoring our own experience and being open to the honoring of each other's experience. We'll get there eventually. It's going to take some time, of course. What should the community do when it's announced by the government? Well, I'm sure they'll throw a lot of parties. They'll be very, very happy because they've been waiting for a long time. right? What do you do when you pass that Valentine and you get a smile, right? You're practically unable to sit in your chair, you're so happy, right? They love me, it feels so good, right? Let yourself feel that wonderful emotion. It feels very good to be recognized, it really does. It feels very good to connect with each other, it really does. But we shouldn't hold on to the suffering that happens when we believe we're disconnected. Instead, we should look with wisdom and say, you know what? Everyone is just trusting in their own experience. And as more people have the experience, more people are going to talk about it, and more people are going to learn about it. And eventually, yes, we're all going to realize we live in a multiple-dimensioned reality. It's going to happen. It's going to take some time, but it's going to happen.